Hi, Arcfieldweather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday morning, June the 4th. Yesterday we talked about the Madden-Julian oscillation. It's a teleconnection index we like to look at this time of the year to better determine if there can be some tropical activity in the Atlantic basin. Indeed, it continues to look like it'll move into what we call a more active phase or location by the middle of June, more active in terms of potential for tropical activity in the Atlantic basin. However, at the same time it moves into that phase 8 or that more active phase, it tends to weaken. So we'll just have to wait and see if it'll be strong enough to set off the development of a tropical wave or a tropical storm. If so, it would probably be in the Gulf of America or the Caribbean Sea. Again, somewhere around the middle part of June. The GFS continues to predict such a system later this month, and we'll walk through those forecast maps in a moment here. Wanted to start off with the 10-day forecast map from last night's 0Z run of the GFS. Again, this is total precipitation over the next 10 days, and it's really quite a healthy look to it here. It's something you like to see this time of the year before you head into the heart of the summer season. All these purple areas here represent 3 inches or more in the next 10 days or so. So it's kind of scattered around the southern U.S. from the south central states all the way to the southeastern coastline here. Could be several inches of rainfall over the next 10 days or so. All the light blue that you see on this particular map, this is from a NOAA website, represents 2 inches or more. So really the eastern half of the nation all the way up through the interior northeast gets a pretty decent amount of rainfall over the next 10 days or so, and we'll just have to wait and see if there will be a tropical system involved. In fact, a lot of this moisture right here showing up here along the Carolina coastline down to the Georgia coastline is related to a system in the near term over the next few days that will push up along the southeastern U.S. coastline. It may or may not be called a tropical system by the NOAA's National Hurricane Center, but indeed it will produce a lot of rainfall along the Georgia, the South Carolina, North Carolina coastal sections here over the next couple of days. Really the only dry areas, some limited areas of the western U.S. over the next 10 days. Now, the normal website I use to go through the forecast maps, tropicaltidbits.com, is down this morning, so I'm going to a NOAA website. So these are certainly different looking maps than I typically show here, but this is the 500 millibar pattern here with relative humidity on top of the 500 millibar height field here. All this green area represents more humid air in the middle part of the atmosphere. We'll just kind of walk through these forecast maps over the next for the next couple of weeks or so here. Starting off right now with that upper level low situated right here over the eastern Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, and it will move to the northeast here over the next few days. And again, this could be considered a tropical system here, and we'll see if indeed NOAA's National Hurricane Center will end up calling it a tropical wave. They are certainly monitoring this. If you go to the NHC website, you'll see kind of a yellow hashed area right in this region. This is the system they are watching. So we will just push forward here in time, and first of all kind of focus in on this area right here. That again will produce a lot of rainfall along the Carolina coastline and into from Georgia all the way up to the Carolinas over the next couple of days. This is now over the next 24 hours or so. Again, that low pressure area moving right up along the southeast U.S. coastline here. And by the time it exits here later in the week, it could be enough of a circulation for, again, the possibility of a tropical wave here as deemed by NOAA's National Hurricane Center. We'll just have to wait and see whether or not it's considered a tropical system. It will indeed produce quite a bit of rainfall here over the southeastern U.S. coastline here. Now, we'll move forward here, and just wanted to kind of point out that there continue to be troughs moving in across the northern half of the nation. This time of the year, you could really have that upper level jet stream pushed way up to the north into Canada and kind of a summer-like pattern across the U.S. Not quite there yet. We still have a lot of activity here. You can see a deep upper level trough here. This is by the latter part of the upcoming weekend, diving to the south and east. Certainly not that summertime look with the jet stream way up north across Canada here. Still quite an active weather pattern. Whenever you see a trough like this, in this case over the Great Lakes, that continues to suggest we will have decent rainfall, as we saw in that 10-day forecast map across the eastern third of the nation. We'll go out even farther in time, all the way to the end of this forecast cycle here, because I wanted to really emphasize the continuing highly active weather pattern. Here we go all the way out. This is way out, 384-hour forecast map. So this is about 2 weeks away, a little bit more than 2 weeks away. Take a look at what we have here. Very strong upper level ridge situated over the western states. This would be very hot weather here if indeed it comes to fruition here, with this ridge over the parked over the interior western U.S. But at the same time, deep upper level trough here over New England. So kind of an omega block pattern here, potentially setting up for the second half of June here with this upper level ridge. In this particular case, it looks like it's parked out over the western U.S. Wherever this sets up will be very hot, well above normal temperatures this time of the year. On the other hand, where this trough sets up, and in this particular forecast cycle, it looks like the northeastern U.S., that could be kind of a cool and damp period here, again, during the middle and latter part of the month of June. Now, we'll walk through the surface forecast maps. Again, we're using a website from NOAA here. Don't have tropical tidbits available this morning here. But let's just kind of walk through here, and we'll see this area of precipitation now over the eastern Gulf slide up to the north and east over the next few days here. And that, again, will produce quite a bit of rainfall from the Carolina coastline down to the Georgia coastline, down to northern Florida, where there has been some decent rainfall in recent days after a very dry period here. And here we go into the end of the week here. We have a pretty decent upper level trough that will slide across the Midwest into the eastern states, producing some showers and thunderstorms in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City on Saturday, maybe even late Friday night time frame, but more likely on Saturday. Then we'll move forward in time, and again, over the next 10 days or so, a lot of rainfall here over the eastern half of the nation. Here we are in the latter part of the upcoming weekend, and then we have that deep upper level trough that we'll have to deal with here. Looks like moving into the northeastern states towards the end of this forecast cycle. This is all the way out a week from right now, and we have high pressure at this particular time, the latter part of next week, parked in the eastern states, but then we move forward here, and that deep upper level trough slides into New England here by the end of this forecast cycle. Again, this could be a cool and damp period. The second half of June here, at the same time, very hot weather infiltrates the western U.S. If you get that upper level ridge parked over a particular area for an extended period of time, you can have very, very hot conditions here. One final thing I wanted to point out here is the GFS forecast map, again, for about 2 weeks out here. We're now looking at the 19th of June here, and indeed it has a tropical system in the eastern Gulf. Again, it is on the table, not a guarantee by any means, but the MJO does move into a more active phase by this particular time, albeit more of a weakened condition here. But this is something we'll monitor over the next week or two, whether or not there will indeed be that initial tropical system in the Atlantic Basin 2025 tropical season. So a lot going on here over the next couple of weeks with still an active weather pattern across the nation. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.